fast. I'm still in teen mode, so I'll try and slow it down slightly. We all know that there isn't a Google generation. There's no such thing. Unfortunately, teachers still think that there is. Now, the difficulty is that a lot of teachers lack confidence in using the internet. And what they see from students is that confidence. And they make the assumption that confidence equals ability, whereas in fact, of course, it doesn't. Really, teacher and student ability online is actually very, very similar if you try and measure it up. Now, the problem that we have in the school library is the stick it into Google school of doing some research. They stick the question in, they take the first answer, copy and paste it into a document, hand it in, and they get the tick. That counts as their homework. They get the points for that, and that's what we're trying to battle. But we're also trying to battle the student misconception that more is better. When they stick their keywords into Google, what they want is as many results as possible because that will mean that they've done it right. Whereas, of course, what they're actually going to land up doing is just searching through endless rubbish. The power, unfortunately, lies in the mark book. So why are they going to listen to a librarian when the teachers have the mark book and they're happy to tick off the work and say that they've done it when in fact all they've done is copy and paste some? What teachers want from you though is not for you to say you can do this with your students. They've got so much new stuff coming at them, they've got new rules, they've got new syllabuses coming out all of the time. What they need to hear from me is, I'll do it for you. So I've been turning up with a box of resources, knowledge of the mark scheme, knowledge of the whole syllabus, and that's when they're actually happy to see me instead of a bit scared. I've been having sort of mini echo chamber escapes all of this term and actually going into classrooms to do this instead. Because when I did it in the library, everyone thought, oh, this is a library skill, whereas of course it isn't, it's a subject skill. And it's been freaking out staff really seeing me around the place. They're not used to me not being in my normal position, but they're getting the hang of it slowly. We start off quite often with the Google game, where we will give students very basic ways of using Google techniques to speed things up, you know, phrase searches, site-specific searches, and we give out points, or chocolates as they're known, which actually have more power than the mark book, to those who can get the fewest results. And teachers at this point start to think, oh, hang on a second, I didn't actually know how to do this. This is speeding things up, maybe there's something here. And this is the point when they start stealing your resources and hoarding them away to give out to the rest of the department, which of course is fantastic. Then we've got the problem of which sites to use. And the difficulty here is that, again, teachers aren't necessarily sure how to evaluate a site. So students will be going to use your answers, stick in the question, get the answers out, the basic facts are there, and that counts as enough, they get the thumbs up. So what we've been doing is using a very, very simple flowchart as the centrepiece of their handout that guides them through various criteria for assessing websites and comes down to whether you can use it or whether you can't. It comes down to a very, very black and white thing, and that forms the main part of that handout, and they find it very easy to use. I used Glyphy.com to make this up. It was very, very easy, and this works for GCSE and A-level. So it gets them started on that road to thinking about where these resources are coming from. We've also been creating pathfinders for students, particularly lower down the school, so collecting resources for them, so essentially giving them a stack of books, but they're the online ones. Lifebinders is really handy, as you can see, well, you might not be able to see at the back, there are tabs up at the top, and what you do is you paste in your URL, it retrieves the site for you, and you essentially bind it into one site. And you can have subcategories as well. So it encourages you to arrange the information, you have to categorise it, and when students get access to it, it's already arranged in a way that they can really access. It can also be used as a way to set up writing frames. If you've got students doing a long task and they're not sure how they're going to be setting it out, this actually gives them a way of working through it, so you can use each of the tabs at the top to do a main thing and then break it down. For older students who find that a little bit too restrictive, we've been using Perl trees, which essentially does the same thing in grabbing a site, but lets students feel that they're having more of a discovery. And they can also create their own Perl trees and then add them to yours, and they start sharing the information that they're getting, which has been really encouraging too. When you hand them these stacks though, quite often they'll say, is this actually research? They've got the hang of the search bit using Google, but they've sort of forgotten the read. So we're having to sort of go back over what research actually is, and that's collecting information and using information. We've been using two main sites to help them with that. Digo, social bookmarking site, so that they're storing all of their bookmarks. You would be amazed at the sheer number of teenagers who don't store bookmarks anywhere, not even in a browser. They'll even stick Google in the Google search bar to get to Google. They don't even save that. So using Digo has come as a bit of a revelation to them, and they are now keeping that information, and they're using that as an excuse to evaluate the site. You know, is this worth me saving? Do I want to tag this site? Is it worth it? And they found their way around the site in about half an hour and started forming groups and studying through each other as well. And we had some great peer assessment of the various sites going on without me even prompting it, whereby they actually had a fight about one boy who was putting in rubbish sites to his Digo and sharing them with everyone else. They said he needed to be evaluating more carefully. Evernote has been really, really handy, and they're using that in a way that I didn't expect at all. They're using it as a copy and paste intermediary. There is something in the teenage psyche that says, I must copy and paste, and that's what they need to do. If they can do it into Evernote, they then take that information from there and turn it into their own work. So it's a sort of in-between stage for them, as well as helping them to record their bibliographic information. Now, this has all been very, very new to the teachers in our school. This isn't something that they've tried before. It's only in the last year or so that they've had these ideas introduced. And they've been freaking out a little bit and not sure if they're quite right. But I've been working with a lower ability core science group, who are generally students who struggle to do any sort of structured work at all. But I've been working them through this. They've been enjoying using the resources. And their teacher, Mrs. Robbins, said that the quality of the research is incredible. And every single one of those students is predicted to absolutely max out on the points available for the research part of their course. So as well.